Hey folks. So just the other day, I was at DuArt Studio, the place where they record the English dub of Pokemon, and I was recording a new character voiceover demo for myself, thanks to Tom Wayland, the guy who's been directing Pokemon for quite a few years now. And I needed to do a Kirblog for today, and reached out to Twitter and got a suggestion by Jamie Tester, who said that I should talk about my experiences with my Pokemon voiceover gigs and my goals for doing voiceover in the future. So I thought, hey, well, you know what? Why not? It's kind of a relevant topic to what I've been doing lately, because that in combination with I just recently, well, it was announced and I also recorded semi-recently this movie called Patema Inverted. It's an anime movie that was directed by Michael Center Nicholas at NYAV Post. And so I thought, hey, you know what? Why not talk a little bit about this? I did a Kirblog a while back about my interests in voiceover and kind of where that whole thing came from, and ultimately going into direction and all that. So I thought, hey, why not talk a little bit about my actual experiences in doing voiceover? I'm going to talk about the Pokemon stuff, but also some other stuff as well. So continuing from the story that I kind of told a little bit at the beginning of, so after kind of building up, a decent enough kind of idea of what I consider to be good and bad acting, just from, practicing on my own stuff that I had worked on and whatever, for a few years. New York Anime Fest, which was a convention that was kind of made by the same people that ran New York Comic Con, and eventually it kind of got, eaten by New York Comic Con and now doesn't exist anymore. At New York Anime Fest, there was a contest being held by Tom Wayland and Michael Center Nicholas, who I mentioned both of them before, where you would have to write a monologue, and then if you enter the contest and you get drawn to come up and perform, you have to recite the monologue, and then if you performed well enough, then you would get to move to the next round and improvise, followed by then you would have to you would have to actually dub a scene set to anime footage. So myself and this other actress, Crystal Longquist, who has appeared in the Nintendo collabs as a couple minor characters and stuff, she and I actually both won the contest. That was kind of unusual, where they had two winners. It was a guy and a girl, obviously. So me and Crystal both won that. So the prize for this contest was, as it was advertised, it was meant to be a part in a show that either of the two directors were working on. Michael Center Nicholas, for those of you who don't know, travels back and forth between New York and LA a lot. So he was working on a lot of different stuff, but not anything necessarily in the New York area. So there wasn't anything for that. And Tom Wayland was mainly working on Pokemon at the time. But the sort of blessing in disguise, I consider it to be one for that, was the fact that especially at the time, with Pokemon, you had to audition. You could not just be given a part just willy-nilly like that. You needed to audition. And quite honestly, I preferred that, because I had some people when they found out that I won this contest, I won't name who they are, but I had a few people criticizing, well, the only reason you're going to get this part is because you won that contest. They just owe you, right? So I felt a little like, all right, well, a little self-conscious about that. But the fact that they were having me actually audition for it, like any other actor that would be coming in, was a little more empowering. So my very first audition was for a character on Pokemon Diamond and Pearl named Riley, who, for those of you who don't know, I think he was in the video game. He's the guy with Lucario. He looks kind of like the dude from the movie a little bit. I read for him. It was going to be for 2 episodes. After I finished my audition and I got out of the booth, I was told by Tom Wayland, the director, listen, I know that we owe you because of the contest technically, but I also really wouldn't call you in and have you try this if I didn't think that you were good. So that gave me a vote of confidence to be like, all right, so maybe I really can do this. Maybe I have some ability to really just, do this for real and not just, I happen to win at some contest. Because also take note, this thing that I won, this was something that had been going on even before AX Idol or whatever, a lot of that stuff. And admittedly, I kind of look at that stuff and I'm just like, okay, whatever, So I wanted to really earn it. And, and so some more time passed. I auditioned the second time for Pokemon, which was for my character Corey, and ultimately booked the part. I actually auditioned against Lucian Dodge, who many of you might recognize from a lot of shows. He's gotten to be much bigger now. He's been doing a lot of great stuff, and he's fantastic. He and I both auditioned for the same part, and I managed to get it, and that was kind of the beginning. So after that, I had 3 sessions where we recorded 5 episodes. Where those of you who didn't watch the series at the time, in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, kind of towards the 3/4 of the way through that generation of the show, Heart Gold and Soul Silver was coming out, or had come out in Japan, I believe, already. And so the girl trainer character, Lyra, and this new character named Corey, who is not exactly the boy trainer per se. He was kind of like he was an anime-specific character, but he and Lyra were both from Johto, and they joined up with Ash and Company and traveled with them for 5 episodes. I believe you can get this on DVD by now. I don't know what box set that they are, though, unfortunately. So this was kind of like, when they had like the kid from Pokemon Snap in there, and whoever else, and all these characters who like travel with Ash for a while, and just kind of bring something extra to the party. So they had they had these 2 characters in, and I got Corey, and so Corey was in 5 episodes traveling with Ash and Company, and so we did all 5 of these episodes over the course of 3 sessions, and I gotta say, I think in terms of like a first voiceover gig, I probably couldn't have asked for a better first one, at least in terms of like dubbing an anime, because I learned a lot. Tom taught me a lot at the time through just getting some kind of basic skills. I mean, I kind of like understood what the concept of ADR, like, like dubbing anime, like how the whole technical process worked. I had done enough research to really understand it. And, so I didn't go in like completely uneducated. And I did my research, and I was on top of things, and I'm still to this day, I'm pretty proud of my performance on those 5 episodes, especially towards the end. And it was great fun, just, getting to do all, just as a fan, as somebody, of course, who did grow up with Pokemon, from the beginning in the US, getting to do all the catchphrases and fight Team Rocket and have a battle with Ash and catch a Pokemon and just do everything that comes with the package of it. I mean, it was great. It was just a really great experience. It gave me just a lot of good grounding for just kind of how that whole process worked. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably know how the whole process works, where it's like, we listen to the Japanese, and then like we have the footage and we go over it, and after like the 3 beeps, and then you do your line, etc. And the director guides you through the scene, giving you context for what's happening and everything. Any of you have been to conventions and have heard the process from actors a million times or seen behind the scenes stuff, you know all this stuff already. So I won't bore you with that. But yeah, it really was a great experience. I think, again, in terms of like a first gig, I probably couldn't have done any better than that. And also, what was nice too is I met Lisa Ortiz, who I'm sure many of you guys will know. She was one of the producers, I believe, at the time, working at DuArt. And I remember I was talking to her I got the phone call from her when I got the part, which was like, whoa, what is happening? It was crazy. Yeah, I talked with her on some downtime, and was like, hey, I had some people who know I'm doing this, and like, they think that I only got this because of the contest, and I'm not getting like paid the same as the others. And she's like, no, you earned this. Like, you earned this like any other actor we brought in, like 100%. And so that really set my mind at ease, and just going in and doing the best job that I could with the performance and everything was fantastic. And then I auditioned a few times after that for a lot of different characters. I throughout Black and White, I auditioned for Cylon and Trip. Later, I read for a few other characters that kind of showed up periodically and things. And actually the next gig that I got to do was actually given to me. I played this character named Roran, I believe, or Rotor, I forget his name, but he was on a Black and White episode kind of towards the end with when N was traveling with the party, and Tom just had me come in and do that quick little episode, just as just kind of throwing me a bone, which was cool. And and again, since then I've been able to try out for other characters and things, and etc. And Tom has become a friend, and he's helped, and he was nice enough to lend me some studio time and record my new voice demo, because I haven't updated mine since 2011. Yeah, so that was all a great experience. But Of course, there was more after that. So shortly after my Pokemon gig, which I think I mentioned this on the Kirblog from last time before, I got in touch with FEAU, who is the voice of Whitey on Tome. Kira Buckland, Rina-chan, recommended me to her when she was casting for a game called Jisei, and I was given a character named Detective Gursky, and I recorded with her over Skype, which was a fun experience to kind of be on the opposite end of that, basically, because I had been, of course, directing people on a lot of my own stuff up until that point. Fia was great to work with, and she had me come back to do Detective Gursky on 2 more games after that. And then, towards the end of going to college, I built that first demo in 2011, the one that I've had here on my YouTube, if you go back and look for it, or maybe I'll have an annotation here if you want to go listen to it. I built that demo and kind of passed it around, and, just kind of tried pursuing things a little bit more, and thankfully I had a lot of people, to help back me up, like people like Kira, people like Lucian, even Tom, who recommended me to a few more places, so some other stuff that I've gotten to do since then, like there's a place in New York called Edge Studios, which my demo is kind of like part of their database, and sometimes I'll get called in to do stuff. I've been doing this educational game recorded through there for a Korean client called Phonics Adventures, which has been a lot of fun. I've done a lot of like educational games and like PSAs, like that kind of thing, which has been great. I've met some other actors that I recognize from things actually in the process of doing that, which is kind of neat. And so that was fantastic, and some other stuff. I mean, NYAV Post, I kind of established a contact with Mike Sinner Nicholas, and I've been given a lot of work there. I was given my part on Bakuman before that was canceled, unfortunately. I was given the Berserk Walla that I did, and then Patema Inverted, which I just recorded recently, that I auditioned for and won fair and square, which was that was an accomplishment because Mike Sinner Nicholas, for those of you who don't know, he casts bicoastally, so I'm up against all of the best actors in New York and California, so I managed to snag that one, and that was really huge, and I was really happy to do that. So as for future goals, I mean, I guess I try not to think about it too much because I don't like to psych myself up too much about it. But I mean, I'm building this new demo because I want to kind of take the next step with that. I think I've been growing and getting better. I've been booking more stuff as of late, I think, because I've just been able to grow as an actor in general. There's a few things that I've recorded for some games and some other stuff that I don't think I could talk about just yet. It's been a pleasure to do this, and I mean, I love doing it for my own stuff, of course. I mean, you guys can tell I have a lot of fun recording my characters on Tome as well, as I'm looking forward to doing Season 2, having Kirb and Zeto come back, of course. Producing my own stuff and being involved with other people's projects has been a great way for me to expand my acting range, and having all the knowledge that I've amassed to doing the Did You Know voice acting videos as well has equally been a great experience, because that's me finally putting all this knowledge to use, and it's serving a purpose. So that's been a lot of fun too, and I hope you guys have enjoyed those. But so I don't know. Tell me in the comments below. Those of you who maybe have ever had any interest in it, like, what has your experience been like? Have you done it? Have you pursued this at all? I mean, I know a lot of people do this on the internet, and are in different communities for trying to do their own projects and get involved with other people's and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of curious. Let me know, what kind of your experiences are like, or maybe some other questions that maybe I can answer about it in the comments below. Let me know, and if you got any other ideas for future Kirblog topics, let me know in the comments, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, if you feel like it. And what else? Oh, and of course, I just came out with Tome Episode 7 Part 2. Just came out on my YouTube channel, along with the Episode 7 full commentary that I did with Liz. And those of you who follow Kirblog, you're very familiar with Liz. Please take a listen to that commentary. It's one of my favorites. It's a really good one, and shows like very much how the creative process of the show takes place and everything. Go check that out. I implore you. I think you'll really enjoy it. And of course, spread the word around, or donate if you haven't yet, to the Tome Season 2 fundraiser that's going to be going on all month. As of posting this today, we'll be having the second auction for that ending and the third one starting. So if any of you guys are interested in maybe getting the chance to voice a character in Tome and you want to bid on these auctions we have to have a background character made after you to have a speaking line in an episode of Season 2 for Tome, go check that out. And otherwise, that'll do it. So thank you guys for listening, and have a great one. Bye-bye.